Oh, fantastic.
Okay, so I have
Yes.
I have two challenges here
Okay.
that sort of dovetail together very nicely. One is, please explain poutine to my mother Tammy, and then the other one is, please tell us your favorite Canadian foods.
Oh.
What if it's poutine, though?
I mean, that's a perfect opportunity to explain poutine to Tammy.
I should not explain poutine to Tammy. Let me just be very clear.
So here's what poutine is. It is French fries with cheddar cheese curds on top of them and gravy poured on top of it.
It's delicious.
Yes, it is. It is so good.
Far superior to like cheesy fries
Yeah.
or chili fries.
Americans frequently hear the description and go, "Oh, coney fries."
Or
No.
disco
Like,
fries.
no, yeah,
No.
Yeah.
no, it's different. Often you see Americans also try to reproduce it with just like bag shredded cheese, and
Yeah, nope.
it's not about the. It's
Bag.
important to have the squeakiness, the texture of the curds is
Yeah,
like
'cause-
very specific.
Because it offsets the mushy texture of the fries. You don't
Yeah.
want all oil and goo. There's enough. The fries are soft. The gravy is unctuous and possibly sprinkled with cigarette ash if you got it at like a very authentic place in Quebec, right?
That it is a traditional Quebecois meal that you get at 2 a.m. when you're roaring drunk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or it's 40 below and you've been gathering maple syrup all day and you
Yeah.
need something that has 3,000 calories, so you just die.
Or you're 3 and just want fries.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's delicious.
And
Great
it is
music.
possible for the, like, when it's fresh, the fries are still crispy.
That's true.
It's true.
Grand Chicken Lord says, does it not get super groggy or super soggy? And
Not really.
It does if it sits for too long.
Yeah, if it sits for a while.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want to get delivery poutine. You need to receive your poutine fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the sort of thing they prep. Like they prep all of the parts of it and then they will just go, bloop, bloop, here you go.
Yeah.
And then you eat it as fast as possible.
Fries
Also, it's. Go ahead.
fresh out of the deep fryer.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's also worth mentioning that no one has ever prepared poutine correctly once in the universe. If we have described poutine in its most basic state, and I'm sure there are people who are like, okay, you're wrong for this reason, and then there will be other people being like, no, you're wrong, they're wrong, you're also wrong, I'm the only one who's ever done it correctly. It's kind of like playing brainstorm in Magic.
Or
Right?
being on the internet.
Yeah,
I was about to
basically,
say that
yes.
was
Yeah.
that's just being on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the other question was, please tell us your favorite Canadian foods, which is an interesting question. And I would have to say it's not, for me, my favorite Canadian food, and it's not a strictly Canadian thing, but is one that is very, very common over here, and that's pierogies. Like I grew up on the prairies, and oh boy, did we eat a lot of pierogies. But you get just regular potato and cheddar pierogies. You fry them in a pan, and you serve them with like onions, sour cream, and bacon. I usually don't take mine with bacon now, but I will do them with these like rock hard artificial bacon bits, the ones made out of soy. I will
Yeah.
still do that.
Honestly, bacon isn't that hard to reproduce.
No, it's not.
It's smoke and salt and fat.
Yeah.
And so it's quite easy to get going for vegetarians. Pierogies are outstanding. They're an Eastern European thing.
Yeah.
Polish, Ukrainian.
There was a lot of Ukrainian immigrants to the Canadian prairies because it's basically the same environment. So,
Yeah. My favorite Canadian food is Saskatoon pie.
oh my god.
Saskatoons are a berry that superficially looks a bit like a small blueberry, but they're tart. They have a similar flavor, but they're particular to, I guess, the boreal tundra.
Yeah, exactly. You can get them a lot on the prairies. There's a place on the island that grows Saskatoon berries. I've
Yeah.
actually been there.
Yeah.
But I love Saskatoon berries. When I was growing up, the cabin my parents would go to during the summer like literally down the road was like all Saskatoon bushes, and my dad would just go and he would get like buckets full of Saskatoons.
Do you have a favorite Canadian food, Jacob?
Salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they have that elsewhere.
They do, but it's not prepared quite the same way as it is up here.
Interesting. How is it different?
I
up here?
don't know. It's just better.
Often on cedar
Well, I'm eating.
There you go.
Okay, I'm eating salmon for dinner tonight.
Yeah,
and I'm cooking it, so I need.
The Canadian preparation of salmon is just absolutely fantastic.
So
Yeah.
smoked on a cedar plank,
correct.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
What I haven't heard anyone mention is,
Don't take my thing.
oh, what are you doing?
Ginger beef.
No,
Oh, okay. So, all right, go ahead.
going to. So I was born in New Brunswick, largely raised on the East Coast, not far from the border of Quebec, and going to the maple sugar shack, and then just taking snow off of the ground, putting it out.
Oh
And
yeah.
then pouring the condensed maple sugar juice. It's not even. It's beyond a syrup. Directly onto it, and you take the little popsicle stick and you roll it up, and then you just. And it's heaven.
It is very good. I had that for the first time this year when I went out to Montreal.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Nice. My favorite Canadian food is not. I mean, it's. So I said ginger beef because when people moved here from China, they wanted to make their food, but they didn't have the same things available. And if they wanted to, like, cook for Canadian people did not understand spice or exotic flavors, right? So they, so this is like special to like Alberta is where I think this was invented, but it was invented by Chinese immigrants trying to recreate recipes from home, but using what was available in Canada. So ginger beef is like deep fried strips of beef with a very sweet, intense ginger sauce on it, and it's delicious.
Awesome. That sounds great.
It's so good. It's like candied ginger meat chunks.
Canadian Chinese food is its own cuisine, and it is hyper regional across Canada of things people tried to recreate that they just didn't have ingredients for and became a thing in that region, and it can be delicious.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
It's like basically every small town in Canada, if it has one restaurant, it's usually the hotel bar. If it has two restaurants, it's the hotel bar and a Chinese restaurant.
That's cool.
I don't have that much experience with Canadian food yet, though you do have salt and vinegar ruffles, which have the ridges. And I was really scared going into the potato chip aisle because I thought, like, stupid American Texas brain being like, it's all going to be ketchup, Lay's potato chips, and really not that many. There was only like a couple of different bags and
You
a
had
lot
all
of
dressed
really
yet?
interesting. What?
You have all dressed yet?
Oh yeah, that was the
Okay,
first thing
alright.
Tara bought.
Alright,
Actually,
good.
we got all dressed in salt and vinegar.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. Because all dressed is. Do you know what all dressed is?
Yeah, I've had them before.
No. But do you know like why it's called all dressed?
It's all the flavors, right?
There you go. Yep. I didn't know that. I've been here 7 years and I didn't know that until last year.
I just think of it like an everything bagel. You
Yeah.
know, when stuff is everything
Yeah.
bagel flavored. It's
Yep.
like,
Yeah. It's just.
you
it's-
grind up bagels? Wait, like, how
Yeah.
do you do this?
I
Yeah,
have
like-
watched. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I like the all dressed chips and ketchup chips and coffee crisp is frequently like what gets brought over to Americans,
Yeah.
Oh, coffee crisp.
and they're fine, right? But I think it kind of sells a lot of regional food here short because we also don't see it. So when people come here, they're like, I went to the gas station because I was stopping off, and you had this thing called ketchup chips, so I bought it. And we're like, oh, that must be what our unique thing is, because you never see it from the inside.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we had guests up for an event, and they had no knowledge of what a pierogi was, which was just like
Right.
something that we had weekly
Yeah.
when I
it's-
was growing up.
It's so ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Yeah.